Royal Duality, Tales for the Silent One, Chapter 3.
Here for the empties and refilling the plates. Sorry. Would you like another drink, Siri?
We just hit a break, Kevin. You don't need to whisper. And yes, a flowerberry warmer would be topical at this point of the story. I'm telling them your favorite, you know.
The triumph of King Evergreen. Oh, you're both so lucky. No one tells this story quite like Siri does.
Yeah, I'm not hating it. He's better than some of the other con artists I've seen knocking about. This performance has got some class. We chameleon demons are quite picky when it comes to storytelling. So, anyway, you finished, Foxy? We've got to keep this story moving along.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'll go and I'll get that drink.
And more of that bread with the cheese on it. Don't skimp on the dip either. That stuff was good.
No worries, Mr. Star. I'll get that sorted out for you. I'll make sure you're totally satisfied with what we have to offer. After all, the customer's always right. Anyway, sorry, Siri. Carry on.
You know what? I think I like that guy a little bit more than I did before.
You? Liking someone who stroked your ego? The surprises never cease. Anyway, whilst the dreamer and Christian tried to come up with a plan to save Oliver, a group of his dearest friends in Flowerberry Forest continuously requested permission from the Fey Court to go and seek the wizard out, though with little success. But fate ensured everything fell into place. Christian's letter arrived, and the group were given permission to go on the quest to save their dear friend. Now, I shall introduce the rescue party to you. First, we have the Fey diplomat Lou. He's a young Fey man in his early 20s. He has clear blue eyes and mousy brown hair, which is short and spiky. This is atypical for Fey fashion, but the reason for this will present itself soon enough. He wears a pale brown waistcoat and trousers, along with a light blue shirt and a pair of blue gloves. He has blue, lace-like wings. He is formally educated and speaks with a positive and light tone.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Lou Monkshood, a Fey diplomat. If you have any problems, please come to me. I'll try and help as best as I can.
Then we have Warren, Lou's brother. A lichen who towers over everyone in the Flowerberry Forest. He is well-built, muscular, has deep brown hair and sharp brown eyes. He is also in his early 20s. He has no profession and is employed by no one. He is not like the others. Warren is a cursed lichen. As you both know, curses are usually the byproduct of blessings. Curses are allocated to keep the world's balance in check. A person cannot have a blessing without another having a curse. That being said, do not assume that Warren is a bad person. He is simply on the unfortunate side of a deal done without his or his family's consent. He wears tired brown hides, showing signs of wear and tear. His family hail from the country of Morgania, so his accent is a little different from others who live in Flowerberry or Evergreen Forest.
Hey, the name's Warren. I'm a lichen, and not much else to say. I'm no good at talking.
Finally, there's Sam, the Sprite Knight of the Royal Guard. She, too, is in her early 20s. She has warm, chestnut-coloured hair, which is short and neat, and slate-grey-coloured eyes. Whilst she would be embarrassed for me to bring it up, she does have freckles, which I feel add to her beauty, though she may disagree. She has opted to discard the heavy chainmail and armour that is often associated with the guard, and has leathers of her own choosing, sporting a rather fetching orange tunic underneath. Her voice is strong and confident, yet warm and expressive.
Sam Oaken, a trainee member of the Fey Guard at your service. How did that sound? Ha! Well, anyway, nice to meet you.
Fey, sprites and lichens were not considered equals in Flowerberry Forest at the time, but this group had bonds that ran deeper than social convention. Lou and Sam were both residents of Evergreen Forest before the fire. Sam's family were already in Flowerberry at the time of the accident, plying their craft as providers of weapons for the Royal Guard. Lou was lucky. He was able to get away from the Evergreen tragedy. Yet he did not escape unscathed. His hands were horribly burned, and his soul ached. He remembered nothing of his family or home. Warren's clan took Lou in as if he were one of their own. Whilst he was raised with love and affection, Lou masked an intense loneliness and sense of regret. Perhaps this quest would help him prove himself to himself. The group trusted each other without question and progressed on their quest without delay. They were to travel through the Evergreen Forest, go to the castle, reason with Helmrich as best they could, and save Oliver. They had barely enough potions to make the trip, but they vowed to make things work. After an uneventful hour of walking, Warren sniffed the air. He worried that the group were being followed, and he wasn't wrong.
Oh my! Please don't hurt me!
Oh my yourself. Why is a posh lassie like you following us into the dead forest?
Oh, well,
Warren! That's Princess Lily!
What? She's the...
Princess Flowerberry, it's incredibly dangerous for you to be here unsupervised.
Well, the lack of supervision is intentional. I'm coming with you.
No way. I'm not having her coming here and...
Shush! Warren, you're making this worse.
With all due respect, Princess, this is challenging terrain. Even Sam, a seasoned tracker, has said as much.
Oh, I know what you're thinking, that I can't handle myself, and I'll be a vulnerability to the group.
Well, I...
For goodness sake, Warren.
Please? Like I said, due to my healing abilities, I'll be able to protect you.
You... protect us?
Princess Lily, I don't doubt how useful you would be on this mission, but the risk to the kingdom if you were harmed is...
I'm grateful for your concern, Sam, but I have to come. It's my destiny.
Forgive me, Princess, but what do you mean?
The castle gates will only open for its current masters or a Fey Royal. It's in my history books, so...
I can't be dealing with this. We wouldn't have been sent on this quest if we needed a Fey Royal. It doesn't add up.
I'm not wrong. And I'm the princess. Oliver is my only close friend. I won't let him suffer. I order you to let me come with you.
This is Princess Lily Flowerberry, a woman in her early 20s. She is relatively short. She has long golden hair, sea blue eyes, and a pristine peach and green dress. Whilst this is her most casual attire, she is every inch a royal, with a beautiful necklace and a jewelled headband. She has sparkling golden lace wings that shimmer in the light. Most people would know a Fey princess when they saw one, But as we have already established, Warren is not like most people. The group allowed the princess to join them, and so they continued through the forest. The princess and Warren were, in some strange way, in a similar position to one another. Neither had been on a quest before, and this showed as both the knight Sam and the diplomat Lou endeavored to keep things amicable between them. Then, like a miracle, the dreamer arrived, providing them with some much-needed mirth and knowledge. He may have stayed and enjoyed their company a little too long. Wine was consumed, and he departed far later than he intended to. The next morning, Warren was uneasy, knowing that he had made a grave error in judgment by drinking so much the night before, when he couldn't afford to be careless. A full moon was due that night, and this brought about the effects of Warren's curse and revealed the Lycan's inner darkness. Finding shelter was the only way to protect himself and his friends. If he failed, everyone would pay the price as his primal rage took hold. The dead evergreen forest was starting to look as its name would suggest, now that they were well within its borders. The group noticed that the trees looked sickly and frail. Not a single leaf could be seen for miles around. There were sinister creatures and beasts in these wicked woods, yet they hid from the group. Were it not for Warren, well, I suspect they would have been devoured in short order. But in this frightening place, Sam, the Sprite Knight, noticed something as they entered one of the forest's residential clearings. The houses were decorated in the Sprite tradition, adorned with colourful flowers and garlands. But this was not the doing of the sinister creatures. No. This was done by someone we've already been introduced to.
Hello? Is someone there?
Aye. Who are you, and what's with all these flowers?
I don't steal them. I collect them from the outskirts of the forest and lay them out. It's a token of respect for the people who lived here. I'm Christian, and this is my home.
No one can live here unless...
I'm part vampire.
A what now?
But let me explain. My mother was a Lycan from this forest. My father was killed before I was born. We lived here peacefully, but a great tragedy struck this place.
Aye, we know about it. But why didn't you leave, like everyone else did?
A damper isn't welcome in the neighboring forest, so I'm here to protect the evergreen culture. I hope that one day someone will come here, retrieve the items I preserved, and display them so the people are remembered.
We thought nothing could live in this forest, but I've been sensing some weird beasties on the prowl. Do you know about that?
Well, some creatures made their home here as I did. I think it's had an odd effect on them. They're somewhere between the dead and the living. I look after them too.
You look after them? Mate, they don't need you to look after them.
You'd be surprised. There's a strange hunter in these parts. The creatures get caught and trapped sometimes. They get drained of their blood and are left to struggle.
Well, certainly not good. What a creep. Wouldn't take a genius to figure out that the hunter is up.
You're right. I'm guessing he's a vampire too.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
Christian didn't reveal his true nature to the group. It isn't hard to understand why a Duke of Death would hide his true identity. Still, he revealed that he could help them navigate through the forest and offered to shelter them for the night. He explained that he had a personal score to settle with Count Helmrich. They were, naturally, suspicious of his motives. In a bid to convince them, Christian mentioned an associate who would be arriving soon and would prove that his intentions were pure. Warren, anxious of being left exposed to the moonlight, persuaded the group to trust Christian, temporarily at least. Once again, the dreamer appeared as a balm to soothe their woes and distress. He was the associate that Christian had spoken of. Now reassured, the group stayed at Christian's shelter for the evening before they continued their quest. They passed the time in different ways. Some drank, others sweet-talked, and one spent his evening in quiet contemplation. Princess Lily opted to go stargazing, having suffered a crisis in confidence. She was joined by Christian, who acted as her unlikely counselor.
All right, Christian, this is the place.
Oh, is it?
Yes. According to my splendidly keen intuition, this is the perfect spot for stargazing.
Ah, yes. I suppose it is.
With a clear sky like this, I think we might have a chance to see the rarest of constellations. The Fey Lancer. That's what we call Costelli Marnell in the Flowerberry Forest. Now I'm far away from home, I actually find a lot of comfort in the stars.
Ah, yes, I see. Your family must be worried about you.
What I wouldn't give to be snuggled up with a cup of tea and...
Lily? Is something wrong?
Oh, I'm sorry, Christian.
Sorry. Why are you sorry?
Here I am, moaning about missing my home and family after less than a day. Yet you've lost everything and haven't complained at all.
Please don't let that be of a concern. I find it hard to articulate, but I'm so happy to be amongst people again.
I feel like a little girl when I hear you talking so rationally and sensibly. But no one in the kingdom has a better education than me.
Maybe not, but I'm sure you've never celebrated a festival in a distant land, or caught a fish, or drawn a map. You know, I bet Sam, Warren, and Lewis have first-hand experience. Maybe you can learn from them and try it yourself. When I was younger, I thought I knew everything too. But my world was so tiny, filled with nothing but artifacts. When I meet new people, I realize how little I actually know. That's why I like to learn.
I don't think I'm as clever as I thought I was. I don't feel like I'm good at anything out here.
Oh? And why is that?